The Brothers Karamazov, Book 3, Chapter 10. Now, while Alyosha might not have gone to his father's house with great expectations, maybe only modest or moderate expectations, he now leaves his father's house with even lower, less than expectations, with this new feeling for this 20-year-old, something that we might call depression or discouragement. He is downcast. Everyone in his life has something major falling apart, and the ones that he knew about, it seems like he didn't have a deep appreciation of just how depraved or distorted or sad or broken all of this really was. And so Alyosha leaves his father's house distraught. He does finally make his way. It seems like it's been chapters and chapters, because it's been 9 chapters. Finally makes his way to Katerina Ivanova's house, and since it's been so long, let's point out that he is there to break up with her on behalf of Dmitri, but to say the breakup in the specific way, to send his admiration, to send his regards, to repeat exactly what Dmitri told her. So he goes to do just that, and he begins to explain what he said and maybe begin to speculate on why. And Katerina Ivanova surprisingly has some retorts and some rebuttals, saying, well, he can't really mean that. She kind of deconstructs his reasons for breaking up with her, and basically doesn't accept his breakup, which is a funny concept to us. She's resistant to Dmitri's breakup. Then you can almost see Alyosha looking at the floor, kind of thinking, well, how do I say that his breakup is only one piece of the pie? There's another giant piece of the pie. And so he can't find a way to bring it up. And Katerina Ivanova says, well, I know more than you know, and I know more than that you think that I know, essentially. She knows about the 3,000 rubles, and so she said, I've known that forever. So that's no barrier to us being together. So on the one hand, I don't accept his reasons for breaking up with me, and on the other hand, I already know about the money, and that's not a barrier enough to separate us. Standard stuff of expectations so far. But then, who comes out from behind the curtain but Grushenka? And Grushenka makes Alyosha shudder, because he's just witnessed with his own eyes how she's ripped apart his family. Ivan had some negative choice words about her just minutes ago, really, and he's seen Dmitri's come unhinged, and his father has become even more crazy than he usually is. And we get a way too detailed page-and-a-half description of Grushenka's looks and how she moves, and she's not particularly astoundingly attractive, but she is seductive and cat-like and very confident and loose with her approach of Alyosha, making him shiver, because he doesn't want to like her, and here she is, seemingly with no shame coming on. Well, Katerina Ivanova sort of steps in between and starts to paint this overly rosy, overly optimistic, overly positive report of her and Grushenka's relationship. So to hear it from Katerina Ivanova, to hear her fake news source, her and Grushenka realized that there was something between them, and then like mature women, mature adults, they've gotten together and they've hashed it all out, and maybe it was misunderstanding, maybe it was this, maybe it was that, but it's all that's all behind us now, and Grushenka is going to go back to a former lover, leaving Dmitri just as a quick fling, a meaningless fling, and Katerina Ivanova will brush the whole money issue aside, and she'll continue to be the savior of Dmitri. And Alyosha listens, and while Katerina Ivanova is laying it on really thick with her, no doubt, her fake smile and her pretension and her condescension and her magnanimity, Grushenka seems to turn and go, ew, I don't want to be part of this. I don't want to be part of this, this overly smiley, condescending tone. I'm not down with this. So Grushenka pivots and changes positions and says, you know what, after all, now that I think about it, I never really promised you that I was going to leave and go back to this former lover. And you know what? So what if I did promise it? I never said I was a good person. Maybe I won't. Maybe I'll continue to seduce Dmitri. Maybe I'll continue to lead him along. Maybe I will like him again for an hour, she says. She is taunting and teasing Katerina Ivanova. So Katerina Ivanova took Grushenka for a fool. And usually her church lady act, her fake smile, her manipulative kindness, usually that works on people, but it's not working on Grushenka. Grushenka sees right through her, and she's not playing that one bit. And so Katerina Ivanova is absolutely horrified at this prospect. She thinks a word is a word, and she's used to getting her way, and she's used to manipulating people through pretending to be kind. But now that Grushenka has changed her tune, it kind of reveals that Katerina Ivanova, that the things that she says about saving Dmitri and being such a good person are kind of hollow. So now, before this scene, Alyosha is depressed and discouraged, really, for the first time. He's feeling these feelings. And now at the end of chapter 10, it seems even worse than that. It seems that he's really on the verge of crying, and just before leaving, he's given a note from Madame Holikov, and it's a pink note. Now, what I think is the key sort of takeaway from this chapter, other than how it pushes the story forward, and other than how we get to know these two young ladies in a way that we haven't known before, is I think after a few readings of this novel, you start to see that the relationship between Katerina and Grushenka is really a mirror image of the relationship between Katerina and Dmitri. Katerina is every bit the snake, every bit the emotional manipulator, and maybe more as we read on. Katerina Ivanova says the right things, and in a superficial way, just reading what she says, and if you believe her, you can kind of start to think that she's a good person. But through Grushenka, we see the resistance that is in Dmitri as well. And so their relationship mirrors each other in that way, that Katerina Ivanova takes both Dmitri and Grushenka for fools because she thinks she has the moral high ground. And so having the moral high ground, she can do these savior complex moves where she's overly magnanimous and overly gracious, and she thinks that she can manipulate people who have a lower moral history than she does. But it's really an act, and all her morality is merely for show.